And second take. I did a first take, but the problem is I accidentally doxed myself. So that video is now deleted because I didn't publish it, and also I deleted it from Opeson. So we're back here, and this is underestimated monkeys. I just said a bunch about the ice monkey, like the fact that this is pretty good, and one of its biggest downsides are the fact that a frozen balloon can't be popped by a lot of monkeys. Bad example. See? Which is annoying. But another thing to remember is that anything that can pop lead can also pop frozen. At least in general. And this is a rundown of the stuff that I'm pretty sure are underestimated. They are Dart Monkey, Tack Shooter, Ice Monkey, which I just covered. Also, Icicle Impale is pretty good. It attacks pretty fast. Glue Gunner. People absolutely hate the Glue Gunner, and I don't understand why. Sniper Engineer gets a bad rap for some reason, and the Alchemist as an attacker. Of course, this is all my opinion, and if you think they're bad, you're not wrong. You are, actually, but I'm not allowed to say that. So first of all, I think one of the best ones out of this group, Engineer. On its own, not great, honestly. It's pretty bad, actually. He's terrible, unupgraded, but most things are terrible unupgraded if they cost 340. Looking at you. Considering it costs 340. You know? I mean, there is one monkey that's kinda good unupgraded, but it costs 2,000. This guy. I don't like this guy. We'll ignore him for now. But sentries are pretty useful, considering they kind of just build their own army for not a lot of money. Granted, the sentries aren't amazing, but getting sprockets, which only costs you a total of around 1,300 if you're including the cost of the engineer, is pretty effective. It's not amazingly effective, obviously, but it's good. Especially if you have a bunch of them. Also, deconstruction makes them really good against Moabs. I.e., you should be looking at the screen now. Probably aren't. Because, you probably didn't even watch this far into the video. And if you did, thank you. Because, the average retention, and I think it's because I'm not amazing at creating content. The average viewer retention is like 20 seconds before people just leave the video. And of course, engagement is not great, but then again, I'm not a really big YouTuber. I also made. I'm stretching my nose away that weird. That's why I sound weird. I'm not a big YouTuber. I'm not great at it, but I like doing it, so, you know. Sentry Expert is also extremely useful. But it's only useful if you give it time to be useful. And what does all that mean? Well, against white... Well, what does Sentry Expert even do? Because it just seems like it makes a bunch of stuff. Well, sentries deploy with different damage types based on your need. What are all the sentries? Well, frozen, crushing, energy, boom. Is that it? Yeah, there are only 4 types, I'm fairly certain. Yeah, there are. Okay. There are only 4 types. Which are, starting from the black one to the red one, boom, energy, cold, and crushing. What do all these do? Well, they change depending on which one is the most effective. When dealing with black balloons, if you have, say, a ton of black balloons, it won't make a bunch of boom sentries because they'll be extremely ineffective. And when dealing with a bunch of ceramics, you'll notice crushing sentries become far more common because crushing sentries excel against ceramics. Juggernauts are also anti-ceramic because, well, they use because, well, crushing sentries use the projectile that juggernauts have, but just weaker. Cold, I don't understand. It seems like it exists in every situation. But let's just have just like a bunch of red balloons, like an army of very weak balloons, and see what he summons against them. It seems to be just everything. That is the thing. I am a little confused on exactly why certain things get summoned, because Frozen seems to appear all the time, unless there are a bunch of zebras, and then they seem to just kind of stop. Energy seems to be extremely common, which kind of makes sense, considering I'm fairly certain it is the most effective one, considering it has a very high pierce, and and is also the most effective against Moabs. Being of Moabs, what appears for Moabs? Not crushing, because Juggernauts do extremely low damage to long class balloons. Apparently, the most common one seems to be energy, because there are 3 of them right now. And now it's all energy, and it's still all energy. So apparently, energy is a very good idea. What about when dealing with magic? Because lasers can't attack magic. Well, no, I mean purple. But purple is immune to magic. You get it. You get what I mean. Um, Energy will be extremely uncommon, and apparently be replaced with frozen sentries. I didn't know that, and honestly, I don't know why. I'm just experimenting with the engineer. But back to it. The engineer is pretty good. Um, these sentry guns kind of create their own army, especially when you have multiple engineers. Because this costs around 5,000, and it's pretty effective for 5,000. And sentries don't take up space. Well, what does that mean? Well, you can place things on top of sentries, but for some reason, sentries can't be placed on top of things. If there's a monkey somewhere, a sentry cannot be placed in that area. But you can place a monkey where a sentry is, which is confusing, but, you know. And engineers don't take up massive amounts of space, unlike some people. Look at the distance this guy needs. They're not even touching. Like, why is he so picky? Just don't be so picky. I think he actually takes up a lot less space now. I think he used to be way more. But, like, yeah. Why does he have to take up so much space? Look how much space dart monkeys take up. They're clipping into each other. See? So much better. And of course, glue monkey, which people apparently highly dislike. And granted, the glue monkey isn't amazing, but it is definitely quite helpful. Take super glue, for example. It will help, I don't know why I have a count of 9. It will help a lot against Moab class balloons. That's excluding the bad, I think. I'm going to put the bad in there anyway and see what I can do. Okay. It can not slow the bad, I don't think. But, remember, even without corrosive glue, super glue still does damage. Just less, I think. So, that's good. Especially when you have super glue and glue splatter, you can deal with groups of Moabs. Just make sure you set up a strong. It'll be extremely useful if you have an army that is, say, not very effective against Moabs. If you struggle with Moabs, you should, if you aren't able to deal with Moabs for whatever reason, get super glue, because it's good and not that bad. I really don't get why people hate the glue gunner. The glue gunner isn't amazing. I think I've already said this, but the glue gunner is not amazing. The glue gunner is not the best tower by any means, but it's definitely quite good. See? They are way better with the glue gunner than they are without. Because look. They do pretty low damage to Moabs. not terrible, but it's also not amazing. And being able to stop multiple Moab class balloons is extremely useful. Or, okay, you can't fully stop a ZOMG, but it's really not moving enough for it to matter. So let's set it around 223 when they move way faster. And still, it's doing pretty good. Obviously, you're going to need MIB if you want to see camo. So, you deal with DDTs. But yeah, see, you can just stop DDTs. Granted, they're very fast. And, you know, the glue gunner probably won't be able to hit all of them. But it can keep a possibly unlimited amount. No, it can't, because it's limited. But yeah, it can take a lot of DDTs. And just trap them. And actually, some don't escape, like that guy. Or what they do? But yeah, see, whatever it is, it's pretty effective. And you should probably utilize the glue monkey more. Glue gunner, whatever. Also, balloon liquefier is extremely effective. This is round 223, so. Let's see, against a round 100 Moab. Dawn. Round 100 BFB. Okay, well, it struggles, but it does deal with everything. Against a bad, obviously not going to work, but whatever, let's try anyway. Really, all of the primary monkeys, I think people kind of dislike. Because they just aren't that good, I guess. But they are. People don't get that, but they're really good. Take the boomerang monkey, who I think is the most largely considered the best primary monkey. And, I mean, I see why, obviously. That's a lot of pops, you know? That is a lot of pops, you know? Because utilizing the ability, he's able to nearly solo the bad. I mean, now his ability's off, but, like, still, it's pretty good. He can deal with the bad, just the bad, actually. But, still, I'm saying the bad, because I think it's different than a bad. Because when I say the bad, I mean specifically the one on round 100. That's it. A round 100 bad. But I guess I'm just going to review all of them now. Like, all of the monkeys. So I'm going to start with the hero I use, Geraldo. First of all, very expensive. Not like here, but he costs 5,000 monkey money, so I don't have a lot now. Second of all, still can't figure out how to use him in Sandbox. Because I don't know how to restock his shop more than once. But he's quite good, so let's get him all the way to level 19, because I don't know. So, of course, you've got these little things, which in the real game kind of just break everything. Recurrency action figure, you kind of need to wait a while to use them for him to actually be like, you know, for there to be a reason to sell him. But, you know, this, quite effective for dealing with balloons that get past. That's assuming they're balloons, because Moab class is definitely not its strong suit, but whatever. The genie is actually really good. Like, that's a lot. That is way better than they were doing before. The genie has 902, and that's like half of Geraldo's pops. Actually, more than half. I say Geraldo because I'm pretty sure that is the canonically right way to say it. These are spikes. Road spikes. Pretty good. Another thing is, I don't know if this is a glitch or not, but any of, like, Geraldo's buffs... Actually, maybe it works with Alchemist, too. Hold on. Like if I put Alchemist here, he buffs Geraldo. No, okay, it only works with Geraldo's buffs. But something like Jar of Pickles will not just work on Geraldo, but also on everyone else. The Jar of Pickles is also quite useful, but it makes everything attack slower. It also works on the Quincy action figure for some reason, and I don't know why. Is that, of course, Sharpening Stone, which is quite useful for Dart Monkeys. And I think also Super Monkeys? Yeah, it also works with Super Monkeys. Does it? But it doesn't work if they don't use darts, so. Like, I don't know, does Legend of the Night technically use darts? No. Okay, so it only works for, like, unupgraded Super Monkeys. But it works for this guy, who's, like I said before, is amazing. I don't know if I said that in this video or the one I deleted, but still, pretty good. Yeah, Geraldo's really good, but I think people have accepted that. Like, I think everyone thinks he's good. So, yeah. Dartling Gunner was they finally added into the game. I know he's been in the game a while, but it still kind of feels new to me because I played the game like right when it came out. So, pretty good. I mean, like laser cannon, pretty useful. Honestly, laser cannon has really high pierce, like really high pierce. Like, look. 999. Let's try to get as many balloons in a line, and it hits pretty much down the entire line. It is very far, is what I'm trying to say. It's very, very high pierce, which is good. The Ray of Doom also has, like a lot. Like a couple thousand pierce, so pretty much infinite. Like this. See? That was like all of it at once. Wait, I think pierce is... These are technically 2 balloons, right? Nope, it got through all of that instantly. Pink balloons. Nope, still just chews through it. See? Very high pierce. Very good. Unupgraded, though, which I think is a decent test of a unit's power. Okay, maybe I shouldn't put him against 999 ceramics. Maybe that's a little unfair. 1. Okay, round 1. Put him against a round 1 ceramic, which is not a super ceramic. I thought super ceramic... Oh, I still have all those nails, so... The main problem with him is that you have to target him, like you're aiming him yourself. But he's also... Like, you're aiming him yourself, you know? But... That's a pretty minor flaw considering how good he can be. And most people will just, like, lock him. Like, just aiming down a lane or something. Like that. You know, or, like, here, aiming like that. Because this is a great place to put a Ray of Doom. Because it just kind of destroys stuff. Like, destroys stuff. As I said, destroys stuff. Oh my god. I didn't think that was going to work. But no, it did. See? It dealt with a bad. On round 1, which... There was a lot of health scaling when you get to round 100 for Moab, so... But still, pretty good. Mortar, I think, is also quite disliked. Because of micro. I don't know what that is. Like, sometimes you have to micro, which I think is like this. I think that's when you, like, constantly aim your mortar to hit balloons. Which you can't do on the console version of pt3, which might still exist. And the biggest one also stuns things. This is of course not a comprehensive list because I'm not that very. That's my point exactly. I'm not that very good at articulating things. Clearly, I'm just gonna kind of list some off. The ninja. I think also kind of people don't think he's that great, but he is. The ninja's really good, especially because you can instantly see camo, making him the cheapest camo defense, I think. Right? Yeah. Oh, wait. No, the cheapest camo defense is enhanced eyesight. But this is also pretty effective, especially with Seeking Shuriken. Observe. See? Very good. Grandmaster Ninja is also very good. Especially with Seeking Shuriken, because it can't miss. I also thought super ceramics were a funny way of saying fortified ceramics, which is that. But for anyone that is wondering what the difference between a ceramic and a super ceramic is, allow me to show you. So this is a ceramic. Okay, that's skipping layers. I don't want that. Let's just do that. Okay, so this is a normal ceramic. Damn it. Okay. This is a normal ceramic. It splits into 3 rainbow balloons, which you couldn't really tell that it does, but it does. It splits into 3 rainbow balloons, which will be shown by this. Yeah. Oh, 2 rainbow balloons. Splits into 2 rainbow balloons, and yeah. But on, say, round 100, it splits into, well, you're probably also noticing nothing's happening to it, and that's because ceramics have a lot more. That's because after, I think, round 81, or after round 80, somewhere after round 80, but before 85, they get way more health, and they just stay that way. It's an instant increase, and it's not like a gradual, kind of exponential increase for Moabs. But as you can see, the sniper is shooting way harder, and it doesn't really matter. And that was also only 1 balloon, which is because super ceramics only split into 1 rainbow balloon, so they don't split at all. Of course, they will split the same way rainbow balloon does, but yeah, just a little thing that you now know. Tack shooter, really good, especially if you're using, say, Blade Maelstrom, which is quite effective. I mean, like, the tower itself really isn't, but the ability is. That just kind of shreds through everything. And lasts a really long time. Well, that's a super maelstrom, but, like, still. That's really good. Also, this can destroy a bad. I don't know if more attacks are going to do anything, but it can. It can destroy a bad on round 100. Not everything inside it, I don't think, and only on some of the longer maps like logs. And maybe this, but it's still pretty good. You know, full bad defense for less than 50,000. Not full bad defense, obviously, but it's enough to destroy the bad, like the layer. And by the time you reach the bad, stuff like Moabs and stuff won't be a problem for the rest of your defense. But it is a good way to make sure you have the bad done. Like, it's done. You know, you've dealt with it. Also, apparently it's seeking. I didn't know that, but apparently this thing seeks for stuff. Overdrive. Not overdrive. The tack zone. Pretty good, honestly. You wouldn't be able to tell Okay, maybe it's not. Maybe it's not great, but for its cost, it's pretty good. The Monkey Ace, I think, is generally considered good, and it is. It's also extremely expensive. Getting the Flying Fortress costs around 100,000 in easy, and well, the upgrade, like, for everything, going from an unupgraded Monkey Ace. Okay, that's a submarine. Going from an unupgraded Monkey Ace to a Flying Fortress is about 100,000. But in medium, I think it actually costs 100,000 for just the upgrade. So it's even more. It's like 150,000. It's a lot, but it can solo the bad on most maps, except for Blondes. Like, no one can really solo anything on. Nothing can really do anything on Blondes. See? Soloed the bad. Can it solo the bad on this round? This thing is like 500 times stronger than the bad it just fought. Obviously it can't, but nothing can, so. Can it at least do any amount of damage? It cannot. But I mean, that's to be expected. The Wizard Monkey is generally, I think, considered the noob tower, which makes sense. I don't know if it's considered the noob tower in this or if it is in, like, battles, but it makes sense considering it's really good. All of these are. This used to be a different upgrade, actually, but we don't talk about that. Okay, probably should not give them the wall because it's annoying, but they are quite effective. But who got the most pops there? Archmage got 1,000, I got 571. Apparently the Archmage did the best in that situation, which makes sense considering the Archmage can do, well, that. It can do this. That's a lot of stuff. And it's probably better with Fireball. Maybe it isn't, I don't know. It also sets things on fire, and it also gets a lot of pops. Like a lot. See? It's doing pretty good. Probably can't solo the... Actually? No, it can't. It can get close, though. Like... It's... Oh, it can still attack him? No, it can't. There we go. I mean, actually, no, it can solo the bad layer. Not everything in it, but almost, actually. Yeah, the guided magic almost destroyed everything the DDTs had. Okay. So, it can, kind of, but it just turns everything into normal balloons. Like a lot of regen ceramics, which isn't great, because regen ceramics are scary. I also still don't know how to make a regrow farm, so if anyone could tell me in the comments, that would be great. Also got Prince of Darkness, which does that. That's it. No, it's not. But it seems like it. It seems like he's actually really, really bad. Well, and like this he is. He can't really solo anything, but if you give him some fuel. What's some fuel? Well, when he pops stuff, he makes like these weird dead balloons, which are super effective. And he'll take balloons that are popped. So if you don't pop anything, or if his, like, army runs out before he can pop some new stuff when he's alone, he probably won't do great. Like, now he doesn't, like, that, on the little meter, it's at 0, that's how much fuel he has, I guess. Like, that's how many layers he can summon. And I'm assuming it's proportional to how many layers he destroys. Like, this will be less than 999, obviously, because he's summoning Moabs, but if you just give him some ceramics... Oh yeah, his fuel also has Oh, no. Okay, he also has limited capacity. He has a limit of 3,000. And he can summon these little BFB guys when he has a bunch of fuel. Which have bones for some reason. I don't know how. Maybe the balloons are alive. Are we murderers? We're probably the bad guys. Helicopter. Really good. It's wrong path. See? Really good. Okay. Well, that guy has pursuit, so he's not going anywhere. I'm also just gonna give everyone pursuit. Oh, except for him apparently. He doesn't deserve it, apparently. Yeah. It's been half an hour of me saying pretty much nothing. But I mean, I've been tired. I pretty much just been talking to myself. I completely forgot I was even on a video. But yeah. Uh pretend I have a creative and fun outro here. Bye.